You know a love story is famous when it gets its own name, Bennifer. It's a Hollywood romance so epic, it actually needed a sequel. But after 2 decades, 2 different engagements, and 1 quiet wedding, it looks like the final chapter has finally arrived. So let's get into the incredible story of Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and the unbelievable weight of their second chance.
Look, this is way more than just celebrity gossip. This is a 20-year saga that says a whole lot about fame, about pressure, and about how nearly impossible it is to have a private life when you're one of the most famous couples on the entire planet. It's really a story about what happens when a second chance collides with the exact same forces that destroyed it the first time around. So, after all of that, the question is pretty simple, right? What really went wrong? They got a second chance, the kind of thing most people can only dream of. So what was different this time? And what was tragically exactly the same? This isn't just about what you read in the headlines. This is about the human cost of living your life under a microscope. I mean, can you even imagine trying to build a life, a marriage, when every single moment, every argument, every look is up for public debate? That's the kind of pressure we're talking about here.
Okay, so to really get why this second chance was so fragile, we have to go back, way back, all the way to the beginning, in the early 2000s when Bennifer wasn't a comeback story. It was this brand new, totally unstoppable force of nature.
And it was an absolute whirlwind. They meet on a movie set in 2002, and just like that, boom, they're everywhere. Paparazzi were following them on dates, to their homes. The headlines were just relentless. It was like living in a pressure cooker on high. And by 2004, it finally exploded. The engagement was called off.
And this, right here, this is the key to understanding everything that came after. They didn't just fall out of love, they were literally driven apart. The constant, suffocating media attention just made a genuine private connection impossible. The fame was like a poison, and it killed the relationship.
And then, poof, silence. For years, they both moved on, they built entirely separate lives. The story felt totally over. Which is what makes what happened next so unbelievable. Nobody saw this coming.
20. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many years they spent apart. 2 decades. In Hollywood, that's basically a lifetime. In real life, it's an eternity. The book on Bennifer wasn't just closed, it felt like it had been buried and forgotten.
And I mean, they really did live completely separate lives. They had different marriages, different kids, different heartbreaks. They were on 2 completely different planets, moving in different orbits.
And then, in 2021, the impossible happened. Bennifer was back. But this wasn't the same fiery whirlwind romance from the 2000s. You could tell they were older, wiser, and honestly, a lot more guarded. They seemed fiercely protective of the second chance they'd been given. You could tell they were so determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past. They got married in 2022, but not in some huge media circus. It was a quiet, private ceremony. It felt like a really clear message. This time, this is for us, not for the world. But, even with all the best intentions in the world, reality has a way of creeping back in. At the end of the day, they were still 2 fundamentally different people, living under the exact same intense spotlight. And that's where the cracks started to show. And this, right here, is really the heart of the whole issue. Jennifer Lopez is a public person. Her career, her entire brand is built on being in the spotlight. Ben Affleck, he's the complete opposite. He's private, he's introspective, and by all accounts, he's deeply uncomfortable with all that constant attention. It's like 2 different operating systems trying to run on the same computer.
So it's really no surprise that those huge fundamental differences started to create some serious friction. Reports started to surface about them growing distant, having conflicting priorities, and of course the media was always there, ready to amplify every single rumor, to turn every strained-looking photo into another headline.
Which brings us right back to today. Because the name Bennifer isn't just a cute nickname anymore. It's a brand, it's a phenomenon, and honestly, it's a heavy, heavy weight to have to carry. And in the end, it just proved to be too much.
And sure enough, by 2024, the fairy tale was, well, over. The quiet hope that came with their reunion had been replaced by this very public sense of strain. The cracks weren't just visible anymore, they were starting to shatter the whole thing.
So what was it? What was the final blow? Was it some huge dramatic scandal? A shocking betrayal? Nope. The truth is actually much more complicated, and honestly, a lot more human.
It wasn't about cheating. It wasn't about lies. It was something much deeper, something that had actually been there from the very beginning.
In the end, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one heartbreakingly simple truth. Love just isn't always enough. Not when two people are moving at totally different speeds, living in different worlds. One of them lived for the spotlight, the other one craved the shadows. And you just can't build a life together when you're constantly being pulled in opposite directions.
And that's the real tragedy here, isn't it? They didn't fail because they stopped caring. They failed because they cared so much, and they were trying to build something real and authentic in a world that is completely obsessed with the artificial.
So what are we supposed to take away from the whole epic saga of Bennifer? Maybe it's that some love stories are just so big, so public, that they can't actually survive in the real world. They become myths, they become legends, but maybe they can't become lasting relationships. And it leaves us with this one kind of haunting question. Can a second chance ever truly escape the ghosts of the first?